Hello, everyone, and welcome to the -4 podcast, Gameweek 22 special, featuring myself, Patrick. We've also got Darren here, Man United fan,
Oh,
Cillian, and Aidan, who is wearing his lovely
Yeah.
Brighton jersey. And
Up the Seagulls.
yeah, a good time to be a Brighton fan, eh?
Yeah, you're telling me.
So
After
yeah,
beating Liverpool as well, they have something to shout about anyway.
for the second time in as many weeks, they've beat Liverpool, and I really think they're a team to target. I wish they didn't have a blank game week coming up, but I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Shall we have a look at everyone's teams from game week 21 and see how we all got on? Let's start with you, Darren. Talk us through your team. You did the best out of all of us.
thank you. Yeah, really happy with the 90 points. Yeah, doubled up on the Newcastle defence. Worked out well for me. Went with Haaland, captain, and then Rashford and Odegaard came through. Ferguson, who I brought in as well, done really well, but he'll not be playing there for a while, I'd imagine. And yeah, no, really all round happy. I mean, the only person that blanked really was Shaw. So keeper Kepa done really well as well, and Harry Kane chipped in with a goal. So it doesn't look like it should be 90 points, but when you add them all up, it's definitely 90 points.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, happy out.
Yeah, you can't really complain with basically only one or two players in your team blanking. And yeah, unlucky with Ferguson. We all, as Irish people, now have a new public enemy number one in the form of Roberto. What's his name again? Not Roberto
Fabinho.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
It was a bad tackle.
it was a bad tackle, but hopefully he's okay. And you might want to bench him for a week just to see before.
I reckon I
opening out.
will, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I reckon I will, yeah. But no, happy out. 90 points was great, like, so it was, I think definitely one of my highest scores so far.
definitely. If you'd have started Cucurella,
Wasn't-
it could have been 96 as well. That's another
I
player
know,
that's going
I
on.
know, I know, but sure. Yeah, I was going to bench boost, but obviously that could be something now in the next couple of game weeks, but we'll see.
Very nice, Darren. Yeah, so you've definitely climbed up the rankings there. You're on the top 250k for that game week. So I'm sure
Class.
Are you up in the top million now?
Well, I've been in the top million since I started the game about 10 years ago. You know, it's just the kind of standards I have, you know, I don't let them slip, so.
Well, it's certainly a good standard. Let's hope you
Well,
can
I
keep
do.
it up. Anyway, let's move on to our second podcast member. Let's talk about Aidan. Let's have a look at your team, Aidan. So 74 points, not as good this week.
No, I've been carrying some dead wood for a few weeks, in the form of Cancelo and Foden, and I really thought that at least one of them would have started the last day. I think it was Foden that I started, but obviously just never played, so I had the bench points coming on, so that was grand. I think I had Greenwood coming on for 1 point, but it wasn't the best considering. But then again, I think it was just a small red arrow down to about 60k in the world now. So I've been kind of on a steady decline in the last couple of weeks, but hopefully pull something back. Had Kepa for 9 points, which is lovely. Botman and Trippier, Newcastle double up in defence, worked wonders. So very grateful for that. Rashford chipped away at a goal, and then obviously Haaland with the captaincy with 34 points. The rest were all extremely disappointing. But if you can be disappointed with a 74-point game week, I think I'm on the right track.
Yeah,
There's just a lot of surgery to do in this team now,
absolutely.
and only the 2 free transfers to do it. But cannot complain too much. Still on top of our wee mini league, or in and around the top. So hopefully keep on to that for a wee while longer.
Yes, you've got a big
Killian's
lead.
catching up with you.
You've got a big lead over us. But yeah, I think if Cillian maybe hadn't have missed that first week, he would be closer to you than any of us. But hard to know.
You're all making a bit of ground. So hopefully
Well,
time to turn the tables on it.
Patrick's gone down the way, I think, is he, from the last couple of games?
Well,
I know, he's
actually,
felt bad on me, and he's coming down to join me for a wee bit, and then he'll go back up. Like, I think it's
this is fake news you're propagating here, because I actually got 85 points this week, which was
Jesus.
quite a good score, I thought. So I had similar to yous, except I didn't have the double Newcastle defense, which I'm quite jealous of, and I had I had Ederson in nets instead of Kepa, so that's a few points where he's made up on me. But yeah, I've had a pretty good return now from the rest of the team, especially from Brighton's Matoma, who I brought in. I've been, singing his praises for quite a while, and I actually did have him in briefly before the World Cup. But I finally got him back in, and I'm glad I did because he got a nice 10-point haul. Could have been more as well, so I'm very excited to hold him for the next couple of games. What do you think about my team there, boys? Nice. Nice.
You've done really well. Yeah, I suppose you kind of lost a bit of points with the lack of the Newcastle double up, and then I suppose Ederson. We all had Kepa. Who did you have, Cillian, in net?
Ramsdale.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah.
Could have worked out. The Odegaard got an assist, which was a bit of a phantom assist, which we'll take it though. I'm still glad to have him though. I think he's the best of the Arsenal attackers. I think you have 2 Arsenal attackers though, Darren. So I think that's
he's class.
Probably the direction we're all going to want to head, especially with Arsenal having the double game week in game week 23. Let's quickly go through Cillian's team as well. Cillian, you got a really nice score.
Yeah, kind of fell behind on points because I captained Trippier instead of Haaland. Tried to mix it up a wee bit.
Here,
to be fair, I thought it was working out really well for you until Haaland scored a hat trick.
Well, that's it. So
It's always the way, isn't it?
It's always good in hindsight, isn't it? And then, but that would have put me up at 80 odd. So, sure. Look, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, as they say. But the Arsenal defense kind of screwed me over a wee bit as well. Rolled a clip of Darren laughing at me for having it, and then Mudryk and Granto blanking as well. But again, as I can't remember which one of you said it last week, Mudryk this week might be a different beast altogether. So we see, and same with Willy Bug Nyonto. He might pull something out next week too. We'll never know. But yeah, I mean, other than the Arsenal thing, it was kind of like, all right.
Well, it could have worked out differently on another day. I think. Mudryk and Gnonto are interesting ones. I know some people consider bringing them in. So I don't mind the look of your team, to be honest, Cillian. I like that you have Saka. I think he has been really good the past few weeks, and I'm a bit disappointed that I got rid of him. But I did get rid of him for Odegaard, so it wasn't the worst thing. Yeah, captaining Trippier, I did it myself one week, and he always returns points. But you were just unfortunate that Haaland scored a hat trick.
It's kind of a safe captain, isn't it? It's one of those that Haaland, I suppose, in most cases would be a safe captain too. But some days he doesn't score, and some days he might get an assist. Whatever. At least with Trippier, he's always consistently pulling out the clean sheet with the bonus points and all. So,
I was going to get more Haaland, I took, isn't he?
Well, I suppose that's it too. But again,
not easy, man.
That's not it. Yeah, that's it. But if you don't make these kind of changes and take these risks, you're not going to move up past other people who are doing the exact same thing. So you can go down further, like. But
This is it. Exactly. It's good to be differential sometimes. Mm-hmm. Did you have Trippier as a captain at one point as well, Aidan?
No, I considered it, and it ended up being it would have been the right decision that game week. I think 12 or 13 points when Haaland blanked. But I think everyone has Haaland captain so much that it doesn't really matter if he blanks or not, because everyone owns him so much. It doesn't matter if he scores or, he pulled a hat trick out there, and I checked my rank and I went down in rank. So because people triple captain him. So what are you gonna do? Like, sometimes you just need to perma captain someone and just let it ride.
You mentioned the triple captain, and that's a topic we're going to be coming on to in our sort of news round. But let's have a look at some of the headlines from Reddit. So this is the stolen memes from Reddit section, or the Reddit round as we're calling it. So I've brought I don't think any of you actually look at stats properly or like use the Reddit FPL channel, so maybe this will be a bit of an insight for you guys. So here, this is a post by Dwackham G1. He always posts this on the subreddit. and it's going over the goal scorer odds based on bookmakers odds. So you can see there that Rashford has a 58.5% chance of scoring a goal over the next, he's got 2 games, so that kind of inflates his percentage a wee bit. So he's the obvious pick, I think, for a lot of people's triple captaincy. Well, maybe not triple captaincy, but captaincy anyway.
Yeah.
And then Fernandez is there in second place, also with the 2 fixtures at 49%. And Martial actually just behind. I'm not sure that this statistics takes into account sort of expected minutes, but yeah.
I think
Martial,
these percentages usually just take into account, if the player starts, then that's what they're going off of, kind of thing. So,
but it is an interesting one with Martial in that one, and a guy who's in a few of our teams, and we may come to him later on. But any observations about any of the other players mentioned there? Do you have any of them?
Is Darwin on 33% there? Darwin Núñez?
He is.
It's mad. It's mad that too because
why is he there?
It's because he gets so many big chances that they have him in there. So it's like he gets 2 or 3 big chances a game. And that's kind of taking all of that into account. It doesn't take into account.
And he hits them all out of the park.
Yeah.
Or doesn't hit them at all.
Yeah, but this is the thing, lads. You need to look at the stats when you're making these sort of bookmakers decisions, because that's how the casino always wins and all that. So they're obviously, the more times you shoot, the more chance you're going to score a goal. And he's getting in lots of great, positions, and he can on his day score, a hat trick. And I think he probably will score a hat trick at some point this season, but he might not score at all for the rest of the season. That's the kind of player he is. You have Tony there, Aidan, don't you?
Yeah, so I think I have Rashford, I have Haaland, I have Tony. And I still have Salah, funny enough. But Tony's a player that I love. He when he doesn't score, you don't feel too hard done by. But when he scores, then it's a nice boost, and he always is quite consistent with it. Obviously, Brentford, but Brentford blank in 25. So someone I'll likely maybe hold this week and then make a decision on him further down the line. But yeah, I think the more players you have in these in these kind of tables, the better. Because they're getting all those big chances. It's just a matter of time before they take them. I think it's the same with Darwin as well. I think he just needs one goal, or one really well taken goal, and then I think it's just going to obviously Liverpool aren't playing well, but it's just going to be a waterfall of goals. I think once he gets a bit of service to him and a bit more of that clinical touch.
There's a potential it's sorry to jump in there, Darren, but there is a potential that Liverpool get a double game week in 25 when there is them blanks. So, we might all want to pile on Darwin then. Sorry, go ahead, Darren.
No, I was just saying, it's an interesting kind of graphic, because obviously I'd say majority of us have Rashford and Haaland, and I know a lot of us had Martial, but I suppose it's just so hard to know, I suppose, when you're picking people who you'd expect to score. But look at Darwin, he's not able to score them, but he's on this goal scorer odds table,
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
A couple of the Leeds guys on there as well, and I've actually got a graphic here from Hey the Movich. I'm not sure, but thanks for that, OP. So it's a quick.
Say that again, Patrick.
You can read it there. People who are watching this on YouTube. So Leeds are a team who also have a double game week this week, lads. They have, 2 tougher fixtures, but there is a couple of options, especially in the Leeds attack. I don't think any of us will be going for the Leeds defense. So here's a couple listed here. So this is a player comparison from the past 5 games between Rodrigo, Bamford, Gnonto, and Aronson, who have been sort of the main strikers for them. Now, there's a couple of asterisks with this graphic now, in that Rodrigo seems to be out injured for another 6 weeks or something. Bamford's only just come back from injury, and Leeds have actually signed a new striker, and a couple of other guys have come back. So the Leeds attack may look completely different over this double game week, but because Leeds have a decent fixture in game week 25, I know a lot of people who've been sort of bringing in Leeds assets. You have one there, Cillian Gnonto. Tell us about him.
Yeah, I mean, he was, from looking at the stats a few weeks ago when I brought him in, he looked like he was promising enough. And then the Leeds have a lot of good fixtures in the next coming weeks. So, of course, the double as well. So, yeah, I thought he's promising. We watched him playing against, I don't know who we were watching him playing against, but he played very well. Now he didn't score now, but he was all over whoever they were playing against. But no, he looked promising. So
you obviously remember that game very well.
Who was it there?
It was it not? Who were they playing?
They were playing a game anyway. That's
Newcastle.
Yeah,
Newcastle.
Yeah, he has got the highest XGI there, expected goal involvement there, of those guys listed. He's got a lot of praise from the likes of Gary Neville and them guys. Gary Neville was, moaning and guffawing about him going down the wing and admiring his sort of ability to play that position at such a young age.
Cillian's a bit confused there. I don't think he knows what you mean.
Oh, an expected goal involvement. So this is what the
too many big words.
The predictors, the big data suggests that he is likely to get an involvement of 1 goal or assist, 1.4.
No, I understand that. It's
per game.
It's the guffawing part. What the fuck is guffawing?
I didn't get that one either.
Dan made it seem like I didn't understand when he knew fine well. He hadn't a clue.
I didn't have a clue either. No.
Well, I don't. I believe it means you're kind of shocked, but you'll have to get the dictionary out and check my grammar. Let's not dwell on that though. Let's hear your opinion on Gnonto, Aidan, and Darren.
I think Gnonto's the only player in that league attack worth having right now. Bamford's only back. Aronson's hot and cold. He has so many wingers to compete with. I think Gnonto's the only player out of that's nailed. Rodrigo's out for the next 2 months. Bamford's only back. We know how fragile he is. And Gnonto's the man in form. Just with the caveat that Leeds don't have phenomenal fixtures. They have a double, yeah, but they play United twice in a row. They then play an Everton team who'll likely be bolstered by the defence of Sean Dyche. I think it's a few tight games. You have Southampton who are playing slightly better, and then you're going into Chelsea, Brighton. So if you were going to do it, I would maybe get Gnonto in, but I just think I don't think the fixtures are as great as people love double game weeks, and obviously it's great when a player plays twice, but you're playing against a Manchester United team who are bang in form. You play them twice in the 1 week, and then you have Nottingham Forest away, which is a tight game in itself. So I think if you maybe had an extra transfer or something, I would bring in Gnonto, but I won't be bringing in any of them, to be honest.
He's probably cheap enough, and I mean, like as Aidan said, the fixtures probably aren't great, but he's one of them players that's just really exciting. He's kind of like Garnacho a bit at the moment. Anything he does with the ball seems to be really good. But yeah, I mean, you have to take into consideration the fixtures. I don't think they're really.
I think they're pretty good. I think the fact that he has playing Southampton in that blank game week, compared to the 4 teams that are blanking, it's a really good. And he's got a double right now. I mean, the fact of the matter is that a double game week, you're going to have more chance of scoring than not. So I don't think he's a bad pick, and he might be a good enabler for someone who wants to sort of downgrade forward, maybe to get up to Bruno or someone.
Good shout.
Yeah, well, that's it. If you had that third striker slot free, and you might have $1 million to spare. I have Greenwood in as my third striker. If I had $1 million and a free transfer that you handed me, I would move him to Gnonto immediately. Just few too many fires to put out, I think, in my area.
Yeah, I think that's about right. One more graphic from Reddit. Let's look at the clean sheet odds. So this is to consider when picking defenders. So we have Arsenal, Man United, and Brighton at the top. So not wholly unexpected. Brighton have a great fixture. I think it's against Bournemouth, so wouldn't be expecting concede there. I don't know if any of us have any defenders from Brighton, but the likes of your man Estupinian might be a good shout.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
He's been
scored
playing
high
well,
lately, didn't he?
He did.
He's been playing well.
2 assists in the last game. The fluky enough ones, but they all count at the end of the
Nice.
day. And I think he got an assist in the game against Liverpool at the weekend as well. So he's
He assisted Matoma in the final minutes there. Yeah.
yeah.
I think we're safe to say though, like looking at that graphic there, like United, Arsenal, and Brighton are up at the top three. I mean, I think we all have a Man United defender in Luke Shaw. Nearly most of us do, and then a lot of us. Oh, you don't, Cillian?
No,
Sorry.
I have my double Newcastle and I have
Double
double
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Interesting.
I would probably play both of them, to be honest, Cillian. I think that Arsenal have a good you'll see there. They're playing Everton, who are
Yeah,
not the best at attack. So I would and we don't know what kind of manager bounce they're gonna have. Could be good, could be bad, who knows. I think, you might as well play both your Arsenal players there.
Funny though, it's actually interesting looking at that the other way around as well. When you look at who's at the bottom of the table, as in Leeds and Bournemouth, isn't it?
Tottenham
Yeah.
as well,
And-
really low
and-
down.
And isn't it bad how far down Tottenham slumped in the thing as well?
Yeah,
Man City
So bad.
is the fixture there. Man City at I think they're at home actually against City, so still not fancied to keep clean sheet, and I can see why.
Definitely not. There's those the odds are always handy to have, but I think it kind of confirms what we all have anyways. We'll all have the double Newcastle. We'll all have maybe one each of Arsenal and Man United. I know I don't have an Arsenal defender yet. It would be somewhere I'd want to explore pretty soonish.
I think
But yeah,
triple Arsenal attack is also pretty viable, to be honest, especially with their double game week coming up next. You could go
that's the thing.
3 Arsenal midfielders for pretty cheap, or Nketiah there as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a guy who's going to be in a lot of our considerations. So we'll move on to talk about some more of the headlines. I think the biggest talking point this week online has been around the triple captainship and whether or not you're going to triple captain a United player in this double game week. I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts about that is, Darren.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I suppose like the last time I actually didn't use my triple captainship, and I was happy I didn't. I kind of wanted to save it for another time. United have Leeds and Crystal Palace, so I mean, I'd be kind of probably looking at it this game week, to be honest. Who gets the triple captain? I'm not sure. I have Rashford there. He's probably going to get it, but I do want to bring in another Man United player. Maybe Bruno, but I don't know. I think I'd be safer putting the triple captain on Rashford at this point in time anyway.
I think there's some people out there who are considering triple captaining Bruno, or even just going captaincy over Rashford. I've already used my triple captain. I think it's definitely
How did that go for you, Pat? Actually, did you get many points? Did you get many
Went
points?
terribly for him, didn't it?
It went all right. Alan got It doesn't really matter the triple captainship that much. I don't think.
yeah. Do you know what?
What did you score that time when you done it?
I think Haaland got 10 points, so we got 20 in total. So, 30 in total. Sorry.
Nah, I'm only joking.
Made sense at the time. It
does.
definitely made sense because Haaland the next week scored a bloody hat trick. So, they're just unlucky.
That's it. Like, pick 2 fixtures that you like and just go with it. Like,
Absolutely.
there's so much of a swing to it. Like, that I just wouldn't think about it too much. We said the same thing with Haaland 2 weeks ago for the triple captaincy. If you like him, just do it. If they have 2 fixtures that you think they're going to do well in and you think they're going to play the whole match, absolutely do it. I'll be using mine this week and I'll have absolutely no no ill feelings about it, because you go later down the year, you're talking about wild cards, you're talking about bench boosting, you're talking about blank game weeks and double game weeks. I think just find a nice double game week that the player's fit for, and just go for it.
It's a gut feeling at the end of the day, and the game is
Absolutely.
only, we can look at the odds as much as we want, but at the end of the day, there's a big luck element.
Speaking of gut feelings, Cillian, what's your gut telling you for triple captains?
Yeah, I'm slapping it on Rashford.
Sensible.
I'm going for it.
Cillian doing a sensible
sick of
thing.
Sick of holding on to it, and they've got
burning a
2 good
hole.
matches. Again, hopefully they play better against Palace this week than they did what was it, 2 weeks ago or last week. But yeah, hopefully it's a better match. Yeah. I regretted not doing it. Well, not that I didn't regret doing it. I was also going to triple captain him 2 weeks ago or last week when you triple captain Haaland that week. I was going to do it that week too.
You had him captain though, didn't you, Rashford?
I had him captain. He had a great first game now, but the second one again was a blank. But this week I think it's going to be, do you know what? The dollar signs are going to be showing up in the eyes kind of thing.
We shall see.
There you go.
We shall see. Yes. So we mentioned Bruno there. A lot of people this week are going to be maybe taking a hit, possibly. The most popular transfer, I believe, is Kevin De Bruyne to Bruno. Now, this is a transfer I was considering a lot. Sort of maybe downgrading Kevin De Bruyne to Bruno, but because I already have 3 Man United players, I also need to take a hit to get rid of Martial and maybe get someone like Nketiah in. Nketiah, by the way, has had the best stats out of any forward since the restart, and he's been returning as well. So it seems like a no-brainer to get him in, but I want to hear your opinion on that, lads. Like, what do you think about those? Those seem like pretty obvious transfers for everyone, but how does that work with your team?
Yeah, Nketiah's a strange one, because you're going to have to either downgrade someone that's a good bit more expensive than him. So you're talking about, a lot of people are running Haaland and Kane and then a 5 million striker, or you're running a Martial or something like that. If you have Martial, I don't think I'd be selling him for Nketiah.
Yeah,
if you had
just
on
that,
Mitrovic, maybe, yeah.
What price is he actually at the moment?
6.7.
6.7.
Okay, a little bit dear.
So you're talking about the same money as Martial. Martial came back there during the week. He
scored
played last night, and he came on and scored.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That
maybe possibly next week when Arsenal double next week. Fair enough, but I would just be. You're always playing that money game, so you don't want to have too much money wrapped up in your attack as well. But I think I have Ivan Toney. I think that's probably a move I'll make in the next week or two, possibly. Not this week right away, but definitely. Nketiah has looked unbelievable. He's had the most XG out of, as you said, out of anyone since the restart. He's looked great. He doesn't have any competition for striker, really. All the competition that's come in has been wingers. Trossard will come in. He'll maybe compete with Martinelli. You have Smith Rowe back, but you only have one.
Then he could put Jorginho up front.
You never know.
Never know, man.
I doubt it though. I doubt that. That's a bit too out there. That's like that's a
ridiculous
Ten Hag
cheeky
move.
pick.
That's a Ten Hag move.
Yeah.
Look,
but a great long term. He'd be someone, if you get him in, you'll probably leave there till the end of the season. Really,
Nketiah, yeah. I think a lot of people, really hot on Bruno at the minute. I'm, probably the same boat as you, Aidan. I have Martial, and there was always the plan to do that transfer for a -4 hit to get Nketiah in. Sorry, name drop. To get Nketiah in and to get De Bruyne out to Bruno, and then possibly the next week just go straight from Bruno back to De Bruyne. But now that Martial is back fit and he's coming off the bench and scoring, I watched the second half of that Man United game last night, and I wouldn't say he looked good, but he did, obviously score and maybe create a couple of
It was
chances.
fluky enough when he got, to be fair, though, like, wasn't it? It was, I
Yeah.
don't know.
He didn't look
I wouldn't
amazing, but at the same
I wouldn't
time,
be
like
overly convinced, like, yeah.
at the same time, like, it's between him and Weghorst are going to be sharing minutes, and I wouldn't mind it so much if I think in the first game he might be rested and then come on with about 30 minutes to go, and that might be a good thing, to be honest, because he come on and when the game is stretched, might get a wee cheeky goal, and then I'd probably expect him to start the second game and maybe get taken off after 60 minutes. Would you say that would be about right, Darren?
Yeah, well, that's kind of the pattern that's been going on when he was fit there in the last couple of weeks. But it'll be interesting to see. I suppose Weghorst is doing well as well, and like I don't think he's lost his position in the team just yet. So
It's a tough one
we'll see how that goes.
because obviously Man United are going to blank in 25. They're going to need to start getting rid of some of them boys. So I think maybe I do want Bruno, but I might just stick with Martial and, pray to God Bruno doesn't go mad. And I don't have him because everyone seems to be bringing him in this week. Is that something you're planning on doing, Darren?
I want to bring him in too, but like it comes down to having to take De Bruyne out because I can't really take anyone else out to bring him in. I just don't have the money. But what I'm thinking of doing instead is possibly bringing Casemiro in. Now, I know he's not the same threat as Bruno Fernandes, but I'm literally obsessed with him lately, and I think he's more than capable of chipping in with a goal here and there because I think he's just class. So
That sounds
I
like a
don't know if I
Cillian
wanna
Ferry
go.
transfer to me.
Yeah,
I think
well,
it's just class.
I think he's just class. No, to be honest, like Bruno's too expensive at the moment, and like the only way it would work would be De Bruyne out, Bruno in, and I don't know if I want to do that. So, Kelly, what are you thinking?
I was thinking about Bruno as well, but to do that, I would need to make 3 transfers this week to switch people in and out.
And hold on, you've
And
done it already.
I haven't
Yeah.
got it done already. I sent, for people listening, I sent the lads a picture the last day. I had -12, was it? A screenshot of my -12 transfer plan. I thought it was pretty good, but yeah, no, I would need to get rid of a few people first. Not De Bruyne. I would still keep De Bruyne in. I had a plan for
Yeah.
doing it without getting rid of De Bruyne. Getting rid of Almiron. Freeing up that extra Newcastle slot, taking in Pope for Ramsdale, and then get rid of Martial for someone a little bit cheaper. That's 3, isn't it? Yeah. And take Bruno Fernandes in for Almiron's spot then. So that was what I was planning on doing, but I don't know. -8 is like, I only have the 1 free transfer this week, so -8 is like
It's a tough thing.
they're points I kind of need,
But
so,
if you think that you'll get that back from the players you're
That's
bringing
it.
in, then maybe it's worth it.
that, yeah, that's the other thing there as well. But yeah, I would have gone for Bruno this week now if I was to pick a player.
What about Almiron though? Like I'm kind of like on the fence with him lately as well because he hasn't really done much in the
No.
last 4 game weeks.
No, he hasn't, and the stars of the show for Newcastle, in my eyes, has been the defense, and the Pope who has poped. He's been playing brilliant, and then Trippier and Cher, who I've had in for almost all the season, and you have Callum Wilson, of course, and Isak's getting back into it now too for up front. Yeah, what was Callum Wilson was one of the high probabilities in your.
He was on the list, wasn't he, of the goal scorer odds?
But yeah, it's hard to know,
Yeah, you're suggesting a triple Newcastle defense. I would definitely suggest that if it wasn't for the blank. Now we need to consider this blank in 25. We know who the teams are going to be now. Aidan, you've been doing some planning on Gameweek 25. So do you want to sort of go through the sort of permutations and what sort of ideas you have about it?
Yeah, so the main points essentially is that both Manchester United and Leeds will double in game week 22. So I'll see a lot of people bringing in the likes of Nanto, Meslier and goals, possibly those kind of guys. And then you're obviously 90% of managers are going to be tripled up on Shaw, Rashford, Bruno, with the addition of Martial for yourselves, etc. The issue then is that also Arsenal will double in game week 23 along with Manchester City. So you're talking about moving De Bruyne to Bruno and then moving him back. That's obviously going to eat up a lot of people's transfers. And then you have all those things. People are wanting to bring in Matoma, March, Sanchez, Dunk, Estepinian, all those great players and all those farm players, I suppose. But that all has the caveat that Brentford, Brighton, Manchester United, and Newcastle all blank in game week 25. So for my team alone, I'll have 6 players blanking out of my 14. So not only do I have to think about the double game weeks, but I also have to think about, count your transfers and make sure you're leaving yourself with 11 players playing on game week 25. Because the worst thing is trying to take hits alone for double game weeks without thinking of game week 25 down the line. So
what's the teams again, Aidan, on game week 25 they're blank into?
So Brentford blank. So the likes of your Tony, Norgard, Janssen, Matoma, March, Dunk, Estepinian will all blank. Rashford, Shaw, Bruno, all those guys.
And all the Newcastle boys as well.
Man United and Newcastle. So
basically the United and Newcastle are the biggest hits, really. Well, Brighton as well, I suppose.
Some people have Brighton, Brighton's fixtures are really good up until the blank and afterwards as well. So it's a weird one.
So because at the moment I have 7 players missing.
But that's the thing. So if you think about people that are listening and or watching, you have essentially 4 free transfers to get you to game week 25. Are you going to spend all of those transfers going De Bruyne, Bruno, De Bruyne, and then still leaving yourself with 6 players missing come game week 25, and you're going to have to look for the 4, 8, 12 point hits? Do you know what I mean? So, and if game week 25 was a proper game week, a normal game week, I would have Matoma in, I'd be keeping Tony, I'd have the triple United, triple Arsenal, triple Newcastle, all that good stuff. But just be careful with your transfers and that you're not shafting yourself further down the line.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to game week 24, people are going to be scrambling to field 11 players. And I just think the managers that plan ahead and make sure that they have 11 players playing game week 25 are going to be the managers that come out of the year on top, because it's always the managers and the people that have enough players playing at any one time that's going to overtake any points that you might get in a double game week,
But sorry to interrupt there. Would you not think a free hit might be even a good shout for game week 25? Because some people will have so many players that it's not going to be viable for them to switch out, say 7 players or 6 players, whatever, and just taking the free hit for 1 week and then moving on with the same team. Do you not think that would be a viable option in this case?
It's a viable option in the short term. It'll do you absolutely brilliantly up until game week 30. But you're going to have game weeks that only have 3 games in them, So you're going to have a bigger blank with 4 or 5 games in it, only 10 teams playing. And then if you focus on those teams then with your free hits, you're going to skyrocket and leapfrog all those people that'll be free hitting in 25,
I think game week 28 game week 28 is likely to be a big blank, like with even more teams like Newcastle, Man United and Man City and Spurs potentially all blanking. Brighton as well. I think Brighton are almost certain to blank in 28.
On that point you're making, Aidan, like for anyone who's listening, let's say they have 3 United players, they have 3 Newcastle players, do you pick the person who you think's going to score the least in the next couple of game weeks and gradually take them out? Is that what you would be suggesting?
Absolutely. Like I just think that Arsenal and City, people are load up on Arsenal would be my number one piece of advice. And I would keep any City player you have. I wouldn't be moving them. I wouldn't be doing, the De Bruyne to De Bruno and Bruno back kind of crack. I would just, keep your City attackers, your Mahrez, your Haalands, your De Bruynes, keep them. I think they're nailed on. Keep your Arsenal, the likes of your Ben White, your Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka, and Ketia. Load up on them boys. Bruno's great and all, but I think I'm pretty happy just having the two Man United players in the double, having my Rashford triple captain. I think I'll be happy enough with. And then, if you can get one Arsenal midfielder, defender, attacker, I think that covers the loss that you have having to take Botman or Trippier out, then having to take, you'll probably bench Rashford, but the likes of taking your Bruno out and that. If you keep yourself covered, you need to remember you need to be fielding 3 defenders.
Yeah.
And then you need to be fielding, the defenders is the main one.
So
you
on
obviously
that,
have to have 3 defenders.
On that, so what 3 players do you think is best to bench from those teams? Like, we all have a Rashford and we all have Trippier. Surely that's 2 spots of the bench taken up already.
That's 2 cemented in already,
you want to keep them long term. So who would be the third?
For me right now, it would be Botman. Or Luke Shaw.
Interesting.
Those kind of players that are just
I'd probably be the same as Aidan,
in fantastic form. People talk about having money tied up in players. If you owned Martinelli from the start and you sold him now, you'd probably have to pay an extra maybe 0.4, 0.5 mil to get him back again. So just, take a few things like that into account and have your players that are nailed. Trippier will be nailed. Rashford will be nailed in most people's teams. And just, pick out the next 3-4 game weeks after game week 25. See who has the better fixtures, who's been, and just stick with that. I don't think there's a certain formula to it, but it's just to be very smart and frugal with your transfers, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Wow, that was amazing.
I think
Great
I
insight
think
into,
it's great
fantasy
insight.
there. Well done.
Spent a lot of time on that, boys.
Well, I hope
You can take a breath now.
I hope you take all that in, Cillian, and you make smart decisions between now and then. By the way,
What was he talking about again?
So we have a slightly different section now on today's podcast. It's called Cillian's Corner. Cillian's going to give us his cheeky pick this week, and my lord, is it a cheeky one? Please,
so
I'm going to put the graphic on screen now, and
no problem.
Cillian,
So,
do your best to justify this.
So welcome to Cillian's Corner, guys. This is a new weekly segment where I'm going to be taking one of the best players that you don't see and telling you why you should pick them. Today's section, we've got Christian Norgard for Brentford, right? Hold with me. I know what you're thinking. Aidan already said he's blanking in game week 25, but they have a good game. They have a good game coming up here now against Southampton. It's possible. He hasn't blanked in quite a while, So it's possible that you could get a sneaky few points in there before game week 25. And he could be that nail in your bench if he does well, He could take that 3rd spot. Probably not. But we've got 0.09 goals per match. That's an astounding statistic, lads. Do you not think so? He's got 100% penalty success because he's never taken any. But still, there's some stats you cannot mess with. Like, he also looks like a Danish version of Harry Maguire. I don't know why I put that in there without the nose, but yeah, strike fear into the players along with he's got the squarest head I think I've ever seen in a player as well. That has to be intimidating people coming up against him, He is a bit of a defending midfielder, but like, again, no matter what way he's running at you, look at that head. You've been jumping out of the way. So I think, okay, blank in game week 25. I still think he's worth the rest of this week. Will I be taking him? Absolutely fucking not. But I think you should. Thanks very much, Patrick.
Oh, can we have a round of applause for that?
There you go. I was actually looking at the graphic and I was like, my God, he's gone to the effort of like finding all these stats and like all these points. And then I read the last 2 and I was like, same nose as Harry or something to do with Harry Maguire.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He is a very good looking dude. Probably too good looking for Brentford. He should get a transfer to a much sexier club. What do you think, lads?
Go to Everton.
God, that was brilliant. He actually
You can't argue with me.
He actually does look shockingly similar to Harry Maguire as well. I actually noticed that until you put the graphic up there. That was very good.
Excellent
Amazing.
observations, Cillian, as always.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well done.
Okay,
Well done.
you used to. I'll give you a chance to maybe come in with a cheeky pick as well, Aidan. Who, if you had to, let's say, all those fixtures that had, we have to plan for. Let's say none of them matter. If you had a 1 week punt this week, who do you think you'd go for?
My cheeky punt this week is a player that Chelsea recently bought, and it won't be the one you think. So I'm going to give you all a guess each, as to try and guess what that one player would be.
So
Brand new Chelsea transfer.
It's not Mudryk, obviously.
It's obviously not Fernandes.
I'm thinking it's How Felix.
Not quite. Benoit Badiashile is my.
Yeah.
Sorry, can we get that one more time, please?
Yeah, Benoit Badiashile. My
He actually has no
autocorrect's
problem
going
saying
crazy
it.
right now.
Can you spell that, please?
I'm not gonna.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Just because you can't spell, Cillian, doesn't mean.
Origin of the word?
Yeah. Can you use it in a sentence, please? But I know we're all laughing at that, but that lad, since he's come in, I think he's got an average of 6 points per game since he's come in for Chelsea. He has taken that right centre back slot in the Chelsea team, and he seems to have just nailed it down. He's been playing brilliantly. They play Fulham at home, and then they have a nice run of games, to be honest, of West Ham, Southampton. They do play Spurs away. Granted, Spurs not in great form, and then Villa in the next, and then Leeds, Leicester, Everton. I just think it's a player that you won't have to spend too much money on. The age of the premium defender is gone. The likes of your Trent, Robertson, Cancelo, Reece James, they're all not viable FPL options anymore. I just think the cheap lads, like the Newcastle boys, the cheap lads that'll get you a 6-7 pointer every week.
Yeah.
I've been really, really impressed with what I've seen.
Well-
And, I think it's a player that if I had a free transfer with no repercussions, he'd be someone I'd definitely bring in.
He is 5 mil, which there's definitely cheaper options to be fair, but he is playing in a decent defense. Kepa there, I think a lot of yous have, is keeping lots of clean sheets and lots of save points. And I know Benoit Badiashile is going to be in the box, on the end of headers. So it could be a good shout. I think the only thing is that in the blank Gameweek 25, we're all going to need him to be playing. He's got Tottenham away, and you'd wonder how they're going to cope with Harry Kane in that one. So definitely a great cheeky pick, Aidan, I gotta say. Someone I had maybe considered myself as well. So, Darren, let's go on to yours now.
Yeah, I don't think mine is as cheeky and as exciting as Aidan. So, if I had one person to bring in now, considering the fixtures weren't the way they were, I would probably go for Garnacho or Casemiro.
I was
Funny
gonna
enough.
say, yeah, thought you might say.
Oh, I think
Casemiro.
I think he's just like, obviously he's a CDM
Are you
or
in love,
whatever it is
Darren?
where he's playing. I think I am. He's changed United so much, and I think he's chipping in with so many key passes, and he's actually scoring goals as well the odd time. So that's who I would bring in. It's definitely not your everyday kind of player you would pick, but yeah, like you never know.
I'll
Could do well.
I think that's a good shout. Casemiro, I mean, he does seem to score the odd goal, but I don't know if I think he's got better attacking stats than Harry Kane since the start of the
Wow.
since
There you
the
go.
World Cup. So he's definitely an option, I think, and very cheap one at that. I think he's 4.9 mil, something like that.
Yeah, 4.9. I was checking there. Yeah.
Same
So,
price as
yeah.
like cheaper than Matoma, who a lot of people is probably the most popular transfer in this week. I'll mention one guy who I wouldn't probably get him. I might. It's just because of the fixtures and the blank game week 25. I'm considering getting Tyrone Mings from Aston Villa.
Jesus,
What do you think about? What do you think about that?
That was the last player I
Interesting.
was expecting you to say as well.
Well, here,
That's very far field kind of thing, was it? Left field?
Well, hear me out. Let me justify it. Okay, he's got Leicester at home this game, and what's his last? He's got a couple of clean sheets in his last few games, and he is playing.
He's a big lad, like.
He's a big lad, always a threat from corners. He's pretty much the start. He's pretty much nailed in the Villa defense, which has improved a lot since Emery's come in. And in game week 25, he has got Everton. So I think he's a good. He's only 4.3 mil. A really good budget option.
Is that all he is? Yeah,
4.3 mil, and he's got them good fixtures. He does have to play Man City and Arsenal in the 2 games in between game week 25, but you can just bench him, for those games with an expectation that he's going to start in game week 25. So I think
Yeah,
bit out there.
actually.
I've kind of
Fair
talked
enough,
these around to
yeah.
it, maybe. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Not
Good
as
sense.
much
No,
of a meme
my
as it
eyes are
sounded.
still driven on the 0.09 goals per game, so sorry, you're not drifting my mind away from there.
Okay, well, you do you, Cillian. You do you. So, this is the fixtures for this week, lads. We'll quickly browse over these. You can see the double game week teams. So, Man United playing Crystal Palace, and Leeds, who are playing Forest and Man United. I think aside from that, it's the teams that we are sort of trying to avoid players from that maybe have the best fixtures, like Brighton playing Bournemouth and Newcastle playing West Ham. So probably a hold for now, but we do want to plan to get them out in the near future.
That's the frustrating thing about this game week, is that there's so many good fixtures to target,
Yeah.
but you're handcuffed because you're going to have to spend a transfer to get them back out again in 20. I honestly wish, I know you were talking, Cillian, earlier about the free hit. It's like, I really wish you could just pull the free hit in 25 and not think about it down the line, but
You probably could, but then you'd probably just make more trouble for yourself later down the road in game week 28
absolutely.
when even more teams are blanking. But you
Or
never
you could think about it that you have more time to prepare for that,
baby.
Absolutely
maybe.
not. No, you're right.
There's
Game
also
week 30 can either be like minus 30, whatever.
We'll all start egging you on.
going for take the minus 30. You could also do a wild card early and maybe try and plan for these fixtures coming up. Yeah, I think the big teams all have good fixtures this week, so hopefully should be a high scoring game week.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Hopefully.
The deadline would probably be about 6:30 on Friday night, so make sure you get your teams ready tomorrow, and make sure to check out some of our clips that'll be going up tomorrow on YouTube. Short form versions of this podcast, those who are listening on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Anyway, we'll finish up, lads, on the trivia round, which is always an exciting part of the show, which I know you all love. And this is
to be fair.
this is usually very topical. And this week was transfer deadline day. Lots of teams making big signings, but one of the ones probably of the most importance to us as Ireland fans was Matt Doherty's transfer to Atletico Madrid. We were all very interested to see how that goes, and I'm glad none of us had him in our fantasy teams, which I know a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Actually, hold on a minute. Did you not suggest bringing him in there about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was a good. I didn't
man.
realize he was going to bloody Atletico Madrid.
Fair enough.
Let's segue now to our trivia question, which is: can you name all 8 Ireland internationals who have played in La Liga previously? Now, if you can get any of these, I'll be very impressed.
Yeah. That's
Jesus.
the
That's
balls
niche.
is that Doherty is actually the first Irish international to play the top 3 teams. So it's like Barca, Real, or Atletico. So we're technically looking for 8 players that have played for the rest of La Liga, essentially.
There's a few names in here that you've heard of before, but
Oh, it definitely will be, but it's
you have 3 minutes anyway. So if you can, I'll give you a clue in that none of these players have played in La Liga since the last one was in 2009. So you're looking at sort of a time frame before then.
Jesus, Mary.
This is the hardest one yet.
Oh yeah.
it is the hardest one. Yeah.
Well,
If we get one, I'll be happy. Like,
Well, let's see.
Didn't Glenn Whelan play for Real Madrid there for a while?
We're
No.
going to start with
he
that.
was the captain. Yeah.
We're going to start
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Glenn Whelan, and your time starts now.
Oh,
John O'Shea.
Nope.
Damien Duff.
Nope.
He was on loan in Belgium, wasn't he?
Duff
McGinn.
did not.
Paul
McGiddy.
McGrath.
Paul McGrath, no. But probably a few from that era.
Yeah, there was a few around the era.
Robbie Keane, no?
No, I think he played in Milan,
Yeah.
not in Spain.
Yeah. Oh God, above.
Did Eden McGiddy play in Spain? No, it was Russia.
I said that,
No.
but he said no.
Russia, yeah, he was playing in a bit.
Paul McShane.
Steve Finnan.
Steve Finnan, yes, correct. Played for Espanyol in 2009.
Yeah. Who's your man? That's Brady. Liam Brady.
Not quite, but it's similar name to that though.
Tommy Brady, Robbie Brady, Billy Brady.
Nope, not the Brady part.
No, it's Liam Miller was over, wasn't he?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
not
yeah.
Liam Miller. No,
God.
Wait, did you say the Liam bit was right?
Yeah, it's Liam something.
Jesus, this is really tough.
Kevin Kilban.
nope.
Shea Given.
Lord above. It'd be one
2009 as well. That's making it.
That was Finnan. Finnan just passed. So you're talking even earlier now again.
Actually,
What of the good Irish team?
I'd say there was
Steve Staunton? No.
a few of these lads around Italia 90 would have been.
Did you get that
Ald-
one, Gavin?
Aldridge.
Aldrich is correct. Yep, played for
Yeah,
Real Sociedad in '91.
Steve
Whelan.
Staunton? No.
Staunton,
Ronnie
no.
Whelan.
Ronnie Whelan, no.
Packy Boner.
Nope.
What do you call the big centre half? He was really good. He struggled with like alcoholism.
Paul McGrath. I said that the
You
first
said
time.
it.
Minute left.
Quinn.
Which Quinn?
Niall.
Niall
No,
Quinn.
no.
There was another fucking Quinn. Oh, sorry.
What's your
Quinn
language?
Cement, is it?
Language. Apologies.
Quinn Cement.
What other Quinns were there?
Timmy Quinn, Bobby Quinn, Michael Quinn, Quinn Healthcare,
Oh God.
Oh, this is so hard. This one.
Stephen Ireland.
Stephen Ireland. It sounds like Stephen Ireland should have played in Spain, but he didn't.
Yeah.
I can't even think
Oh,
of
Lord
players who played in that Italian.
This is a
national team.
tough one, to be fair. I think this may be a bit.
John Giles.
John Giles. No. Sorry.
I know he played abroad already. Ugh.
Well, that's time anyway. I'll
Oh, that was dirt. How many did we get? 3?
How do we do?
You got 2 out of 8. 3 if you
Mick
include
McCarthy one.
3 if you include Matt Doherty. So these are the answers, lads. Some I'm not too sure on, and there's a
Who
couple
was
of
Kevin Moran?
I did know him. I think he was in the Italian 90 team. And
Jesus,
Ian Hart there. He was a good player for Leeds, I believe, as well.
Ian Hart. Jeez, I forgot about it.
I thought Racing de Santander was a rugby team.
That's that's a different thing, I think. Different sport. We're not quite a rugby podcast yet.
Well, we say nothing,
Forever.
edit this out, and like put in a different trivia version.
Right,
that's like-
everybody right?
No.
Yeah, we got them all. Yeah.
No, I just like making you look bad. I think that was a tough
Noticed.
one, but maybe you just need to brush up on your old Irish international footballers. What can I say?
Maybe
Call
maybe.
yourself a patriot.
Yeah, that was
Uh-huh.
that was tight.
Well, I think that's it, lads. I think it's quite an insightful podcast this week. You know, thanks for going through the fixtures, Aidan. Thanks for your Man United insights, Darren, and thank you, Cillian, for that utter whatever the hell that was. That cheeky
No.
big suggestion.
Oh, that was
More
so
of that.
good.
Cillian's Corner.
Cillian's Corner. It's a new weekly segment. Anyway,
There you
so
go.
let's end it there, lads. Thanks very much, everyone, for listening, and I hope that game week 22 goes well. Everyone is triple captaining Rashford. Hopefully that
Triple
works out.
captain active. Get on it.
There you go. There you go.
You heard it
Here
here,
first.
lads. Right. All the best. Everyone say goodbye and wave.
Good luck.
Best. Up Brighton.
Anyway.